You want to ruin your marriage fast? Compare.
Yeah. But like, that's not even a skill. That's just discipline. Literally anybody can do that.
It is discipline.
It's just discipline.
But think about how much life comes down to discipline. I mean, discipline is the holy grail.
Welcome back to another episode with the Married to Mugicas podcast. We are so excited that you're here. We are Richard and Hailey Mugica. We have been married for 12 years. We have 4 small kids. We homeschool, have a home-based business, all of the fun,
all the good stuff,
home things. And we're here to talk about marriage because we love to see marriages thrive and see couples enjoy each other. And our slogan here on this show is building a marriage you love coming home to.
Every day.
Every day, one day at a time.
Every day.
So our last episode was about, it was kind of a fun one. It was a AITAH.
Oh yeah, that's
evaluation.
Right.
We took 4 different scenarios and just kind of talked about our opinion, and it was a really fun one.
I liked it.
I thought it was fun.
It was fun.
And today we're gonna go a little bit. We're going a little bit harder today. But first, before we do that,
actually, you're gonna throw me a curveball. I don't even know what we're going hard on, but I think we're. That was a weird way of putting it. We could have rephrased that. But.
It'll be fun. That's like my favorite way to do this podcast is just like
off the cuff.
Kind of off the cuff,
like
just
most things in life.
Conversation between you and I, and we're going to see where it goes. They're not super planned out. But before we go there, should we tell them the big news? We've been teasing the big news for weeks now.
Drop it like it's 1999.
Well, okay. So, long story short is we're moving, but we didn't just buy a house.
We didn't just buy a house. Yeah.
So Rich and I have always grown up, both of us, in like total traditional suburban homes, but we bought like a homestead essentially.
Kind of. Is that how you view it? Do you view it as a homestead?
I do. So really? Okay. So we'll get into that. But
it's on 5 acres.
We bought a couple acres.
Yeah.
And we have kind of different visions. I've got very homesteady visions of I want chickens and I want goats and I want horses and maybe a milk cow one day.
Just
and
live off the land.
And
no more Amazon for you. Straight cow milk and
exactly
goat cheese.
And Rich is probably a little bit more envisioning kid fun land, all of the things.
I would say so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to land for all the things you can do on the land. You're looking forward to the land so all the animals you can have on the land.
That is a big part.
So it's like it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, but I'm so excited because from the time I was like a very little girl, I've always had like just like country visions for my life.
It's a dream.
This is a massive dream. And I would say it wasn't necessarily yours.
No, I wouldn't say it was mine.
You know, you grew up very traditionally suburban, and I think you were really comfortable with that, really happy with that. But it's so funny how God works, because I always say, like, God really desires unity for couples. And so he's not going to lead one person where he's not going to lead the other one. And so here we are 12 years later, and we're both really excited about this new chapter and some land. And
it was like as soon as we got the house, I was way more excited for some reason.
Yeah.
Or not got it, but put the offer
Made
in.
the offer.
Yeah.
Well, and what's funny is
like
we've been
in my mind.
We've been looking at property on acreage for years. And this is the first time it's really worked out. And I think it's the first time you've really, really been excited about it. I think you've been on board, but I'm like, seeing you excited is exciting to me.
I am. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So that's happening this week.
A new chapter.
Yes. We're moving in 3 days.
I know a lot of hectic stuff going on.
A lot going on.
Yeah. We got tons of birthdays in between that.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously Christmas.
Yes. It's just a busy season.
Well, we have 2 of our kids' birthdays coming up very soon. So then we're trying to figure out, are we going to have it in the new house or
that's our
we're going to have
option.
it somewhere else? But of course we want to like show off the new house, right?
And that's the thing is like, we're very, very home-based, right? We homeschool. You have a home-based business. Now we're going to have this homestead. We like to have people at our home. It's just home is very, very center of our life.
Home is where the heart is for us.
So I'm really, really, really excited. I'm just envisioning all the kids' football team coming over and all their friends coming over, and the kids are going to build their little bike track, and it's just going to be so much fun. And this is something we talked about forever. And I was starting to get worried. Our oldest is 10.
Yeah.
And I was starting to feel like, oh my gosh, like if we don't find something, if we don't make a move here, like he's gonna be too old to enjoy it. And I feel like we're getting in at just the right time.
Well, that's exactly why I felt like we had to make a move.
Yeah.
Because of that. I feel like the homestead thing is so much more fun when you have smaller kids.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to enjoy it for the next 5 years until,
Oh, we're going to enjoy it.
But 6 years until Riker's old.
No.
Well, we got the younger ones too.
No. But Riker will be around still.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our big news. We're pretty excited.
Big news. Drop the hammer. Bam.
Big news. So on with the episode. Today we're talking about what you focus on grows.
Yeah.
And choosing to make a very conscious effort in what you think about and reinforce in your own mind about your spouse.
Man, that is big.
And it can literally like make or break your marriage.
That's the exact phrase I was thinking about.
Really?
Make or break.
It really can. And it's so funny because every single person, I promise you, there is no grass is greener on the other side in this scenario. Every single person would make you crazy in some way.
If you focused on it.
If you focus on it.
Yep.
But at the same time, you can choose to see the good and be really, really happy.
Uh-huh.
And so that's kind of our...
That's the topic.
That's our topic.
With some curveballs mixed in there and here.
Yes.
Here and there.
So how would you encourage people to do that? What is the first step, you think, in choosing to focus on the good? And not ignoring the bad, because I don't think you should ignore it, but not making it the focal point of your mind.
Yeah. A fascinating concept that I learned from a mentor years ago is the phrase, he said, Rich, you are where your attention is. And it took me a while to really understand what he meant. But, as it sounds, you and I are in this building, right? We're having this podcast. My attention is on this podcast. However, if you were talking and my attention was somewhere else, like I would not be at this podcast right now. I would be where my attention is placed and focused. And it's very important to recognize that because as you know, your attention and focus then shapes your thoughts, right? So it's like, I think about something bad about my spouse. Now the next thought is, well, she's X, Y, and Z. And then that thought produces a behavior, right? And then the behavior now is, I don't want to talk to my spouse, or I'm going to stay more distant from my spouse. And it's all because of the attention shift. So I think it's super important that people realize that everything stems from where you place your attention initially.
Yeah. And like, we joked a lot on this podcast about how messy you are, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a reality of our life. And I could just sit and like be really annoyed with that, right? Like, oh my gosh, he doesn't ever throw his trash away. I find his dirty tissues on the counter all the time and whatever. But like that would take me down a really negative spiral and a really negative rabbit hole that
really
I don't want to go down. That doesn't benefit any of us.
It doesn't.
So like, or it takes you 2 seconds to grab the tissue, throw it away, and then not think about it again.
Yeah.
And instead you can choose to think about, oh my gosh, he works really hard for our family. He's so creative. He's so smart. He's such a great leader. Like those are the things you could choose to focus on too that are going to make you more appreciative, give you more respect for your husband.
Yeah.
And it just...
And it's a habit, dude.
It's a habit. And both are true though. Like that's
both
the thing
are true.
Both are true.
Both. It's and.
But you get to decide what you focus on.
100%. My husband is really a good husband and he drives me crazy.
And he's really messy.
But he's really messy. But like the one you choose to focus on is how the relationship's going to go. Mm. And I can say this for sure. You never nag me. You never complain about me. You never make me feel like I'm a burden, even though I know I am in a lot of ways. Because I'm, super messy. I leave a storm everywhere I go. I don't pick up after myself. I know this. I leave my clothes everywhere. I'm very disorganized, believe it or not. I have a lot of flaws, right? But if you were to ask Hailey, and I know this because every birthday and every time she gets a chance to talk about me, she always thinks I'm like the most amazing human in the entire world. And I hear these words and I'm like, oh man, okay, like she thinks I'm really awesome when I'm thinking, dude, there's a lot that she could be saying that is negative right now. But I don't know if you'd think about the negative.
I really, that's honest to goodness, I don't.
And I feel the same way. Like, I don't feel like you have that many negative things. But I honestly, if you were to ask me, like, what do you really not like about Hailey? I don't even want to answer the question because
I'm not gonna
I don't
go
want
there.
the thought to even enter my head.
Yeah, I'm just not going there.
I'd rather just not even think about that. Why? I mean, I'm sure there's things if I thought about it, I would say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. But I don't ever think about it because like to your point, what purpose does it serve?
And you're married forever anyways.
So I'd rather just focus on the good, have a good time, have a good relationship. And not that we don't act like problems don't exist, but most problems are not there to be even brought up because they're not problems. They're just something to shift your focus away from.
Right. Well, exactly. And here's the thing is like most problems, like if you're being honest, are they truly a character flaw with your spouse? Or are they something that just annoy you? Or even worse, maybe it's a character flaw in you, right? Like my husband's really messy. Is that a character flaw? Not really. Is my desire for perfection so that when my mother-in-law walks in the house, she's really impressed with me? Is that a character flaw? Yeah, probably. So like, it's just bringing out something really uncomfortable in yourself more so than your spouse. Like very few things. Now, okay, if your spouse is running around cheating on you, then you've got a character flaw that you need. Like those things need to be addressed.
Yeah, of course.
But
character
most
flaws,
things are
immoral
not.
things, non-biblical things.
Right. But most things aren't those. Most things just annoy you. They chew really loud. Is that a character flaw? No. Your response to their chewing can be a character flaw. You know what I mean? So I think we need to spend a lot more time worried about ourselves than we're worried about our spouse.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. We talk about this all the time. But I truly believe that in a lot of relationships, because I see it, some people, some marriages are literally addicted to the chaos, though.
Oh my gosh.
So here's a fascinating concept that blows my mind, but I see it all the time. Is because, you know, you and I, all humans, are very predictable creatures. We like to know what's going to happen tomorrow, okay? And so we will stay in a miserable state of mind, in a miserable place in our heads, in a miserable relationship with our spouse, even though we could shift our focus, but we don't do it because it's a very predictable day. It's like, I know what to expect tomorrow, right? Because you get into that pattern, you don't want to change it because now if you change the pattern, guess what happens? You don't know what's going to happen next.
And that's the truth.
And so we don't like unpredictable things. So I think it's very interesting, all the psychology that plays into this. That is one point I want to make. The other point I want to make is that if you are not a very healthy human, you might be addicted to the chaos because every time you bring the chaos, you get what? You get attention. And you might feed off of that attention. Like my husband's thinking about me.
Right.
He's noticing me. Even though it's all bad stuff.
It's negative, yeah.
It brings the attention. And maybe you, like, again, all this stuff stems usually from childhood. Maybe as a child, you didn't get attention. Maybe as a child, your mom or your dad never paid attention to you. Maybe as like these things are deep rooted and you might try to satisfy a need with your spouse, even though it's a horrible need that you're satisfying in a horrible way.
Yeah.
I find that very fascinating.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
What do you think?
Oh, well, I think that's really fascinating.
Do you think it's true?
Oh, I know it's true because I've seen it. And
Yeah.
like, you know, and it just like, sometimes we'll sit there and it just blows my mind. Like, I don't understand why these people, they've been married for 40, 50 years, why they're still doing this. But that's exactly why. Because it's what their relationship's always been like. It's what's comfortable. When things get too nice, you can see it. They have to go mess it up because that's what they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
It is. It's weird. It's weird. You know,
It's the craziest thing.
where I think what you and I maybe try to do in the opposite version of that. Again, we're not perfect. We don't have a perfect marriage. I mean, there's things that always go wrong. But what I was going to say is if you start getting addicted to the positive stuff and then you start reinforcing that over and over, like you've heard the vicious cycles where if you start a cycle and you don't recognize it and you're repeating the same behaviors, like you start living the same stuff, right? But if you do that in reverse, if you start repeating great cycles, good cycles,
Get addicted to the peace.
the amount of momentum you can build in your marriage is unbelievable. It's like imagine from an image standpoint, you have a ball that's rolling down the hill, and as it's rolling down the hill, it's gaining more dirt, more stuff. So it's like every roll, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what happens in a marriage when you choose to focus on the good because you choose today, tomorrow, you do it again. It compounds.
Right.
It's called compound interest. And all of a sudden, you have this rockin' marriage that you didn't ever think you were going to have because one day at a time, you're compounding that ball down the hill. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Somehow you have to convince yourself to get addicted to the peace instead of the chaos. and just
So what are
reinforce
practical
that.
ways that you do this? Because you do it. Do you think about it? Like, do you consciously shift attention away from negative things?
I wouldn't say it's super conscious. I mean, there was one scenario kind of recently where we disagreed on something pretty significant. And, like we've talked about before, I'm a big believer that the final call falls to the man, right? And so I shared my point of view, shared what I thought, but you made the final call, and the final call you made was different than what I'd wanted.
Yeah.
And I remember telling myself, like, okay, I'm disappointed with this. This isn't what I had envisioned or wanted or thought, but I'm not going to let it, I'm not going to end my marriage over it. I'm not even going to let it fracture my marriage. So we're going to move on here. And like we've talked about here, like I'm going to choose to give him the grace of making the decision. It might even be the wrong decision, or maybe it's the right decision. Who knows? But I'm going to give him the grace to make the decision.
I think maybe sharing it would be interesting. I mean, just so people understand what we're talking, like the context of it, unless you don't think it's appropriate, but I think it's fine.
I mean, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
So we had a family vacation planned with my side of the family, and it had been planned for months, and we were really excited about it. And Riker's team ended up making further in the playoffs, and whatever, their playoff game was like the day before we were supposed to get home for vacation. Yeah. And I was kind of the mind of like, hey, sorry, you got to let coach know we can't make it, It's like 11-year-old football. To me, it's not that serious. And you guys know how much I love football. We talk about football a lot in here, but like to me, 11-year-old football is just not that serious when you have a family vacation planned. And Richard just kind of had a different opinion. He felt like, no, Riker's a leader on this team. The team counts on him. And, he's the only kid on the team that does this position and can do this job, and he needs to be there. And so Richard him and Riker stayed home from vacation, and I took the other 3 kids and went with my mom and my brother and sister and their families, and we ended up having a great time, and it was fine. And I think Riker probably really did learn a lot leadership wise.
I was very proud of Riker because he took it. Obviously, he didn't take it good.
He was really disappointed because he was really excited about this vacation. But he did it.
Yeah.
And I felt good about it because I feel like, okay, he's going to be able to stand, and because the way football works nowadays is like this one group of kids is together until they go to high school. So like these are his teammates for the next 5 years of his life. I mean, I feel like he'll be able to stand in front of them,
dignity,
next season, and not feel any shame. And so I'm excited about that for him. But I was super disappointed just because I was really excited about this vacation, and truthfully, like we didn't pay for it, so that was kind of a point for me too. But
and that was another dynamic of it. This was a once a year type of thing that it stems off the back of obviously your dad, all the things that happened there. So it's a very special occasion in that sense. So it was a very hard situation.
Yeah, and it was it was really hard because I know my mom was really disappointed, my brother was really disappointed, so it was just hard to disappoint a lot of people.
Yes.
And we just truthfully didn't agree on the decision, and Rich kind of had to make a call. So that was the scenario that was the scenario. But I definitely did tell myself, like, I'm not going to end my marriage over this, and I'm not going to even allow it to fracture my marriage. So decisions made, we're moving forward now. I wasn't going to choose to sit and wallow and be mad. Like I always talk about giving you the freedom and the leadership to make the decisions, and sometimes I got to live with that.
Yeah, it didn't even make a hitch.
No.
I mean, we talked about it. We were disappointed about it. You were disappointed about it. And then we moved on, and we agreed to maybe disagree.
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
And then we just moved on.
And then you move on.
You never thought about it again. Just move on.
We
didn't dwell on it. We didn't sit on it. We didn't,
And to what point? Like, because I'm going to make you pay for like not making a decision I didn't like. Like, I mean, to what? What's the point of that?
Yeah.
I don't really know what the point of that would have been.
Yep.
But so that's one thing I think is like acknowledging your disappointment and then moving forward. That's a practical thing that you can do. And then I think you just have to like hold your thoughts captive. As soon as your mind starts going into this negative space of like whatever your complaint is, you got to rein that in and choose to focus on something good. Right? Like, okay,
100%.
Here's another example. Your sister's husband, Manny, right? Completely different from you, but he has some phenomenal strengths, right? He's a super hard worker. He's super handy. He's super funny.
enthusiastic.
Well, you're funny, but
but
he's really different from you. So I could sit there
Yeah.
and be like, man, I really wish Richard was handy like that. Man, I wish he could make things happen like that.
yeah.
For what purpose? Or it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, Richard doesn't necessarily have that skill, but you know what? Richard's really funny and he's really kind.
Yeah.
And like, you just choose to focus on other things, but don't ever let your head go that way.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like that's just a discipline. That's
Yeah.
not.
You
that's
want to
not a
ruin your
skill.
marriage fast? Compare.
Yeah. But like, that's
It'll
not even a
go down
skill.
fast.
That's just discipline. Literally anybody could do that.
It is discipline.
It's just discipline.
But think about how much life comes down to discipline. I mean, discipline is the holy grail.
Mm-hmm. But then you have to, but like I was talking about earlier, that is a character flaw in you if you don't have the discipline to stop your mind going there. That is not your spouse's problem. That is your character
Yeah.
flaw.
Yeah.
And I think it's the most empowering thing, ownership, if you can take ownership of the situation, but it's the hardest thing for people to do because they just want to blame, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my wife is just like not peaceful. Well, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
No woman's peaceful if she doesn't feel protected. So like, where is your ownership in the situation?
Yep. And you already know my viewpoints. I think the dude is usually at fault. I blame the husband for the wife's attitude.
And honest to goodness,
Let me tell you this. That movie you love? Remember the Titans?
I love that movie.
You remember that line where he says, attitude reflects leadership?
Attitude reflects leadership.
And it's kind of a gimmicky line, but it's
no,
true.
it's not.
It's a true line. Attitude reflects leadership.
Captain.
And who is the leader of the family? It's the dude.
The dad. And that can be kind of controversial because, of course, men and women, they're both adults. They both have responsibility. They both have a part to play. But I think you're absolutely right.
I think so.
I think and I always say this, the countenance of a wife is a direct reflection of her husband.
100%.
And if you don't like the countenance of your wife, go look in the mirror, buddy, because
Go look in the mirror.
I promise you, a woman who is well loved and is secure and is comfortable and is confident is going to be
everything you want her to
everything
be.
you want her to be.
I truly, wholeheartedly believe
And
that.
oh my gosh, I just read a quote today that was so good. Let me find it. So here's part of it. It says, if she's anxious, distant, and worn out, that's not random, that's reflection. Most men don't realize her emotions are just the echo of your leadership. Women don't bloom under pressure, they bloom under protection.
Yeah.
Leadership isn't dominance, it's direction. It's being the anchor when the storm hits. Every woman becomes a mirror of the man she's with. You want different, be different. You can't demand peace from a woman you've never made feel protected. You can't demand respect when your walk doesn't match your talk. Her reaction isn't rebellion, it's a response to your presence or your absence. I mean, if that doesn't hit men hard right between the eyeballs, I don't know what does.
Women have their burdens, but men have theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a burden that you carry.
Mm-hmm. So how do you handle that? Because
It's called being a man.
But you really do it well.
Oh, yeah.
And
just keep talking it up.
No, but I'm serious.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No, but
We have a course, by the way. We have a sale going on. It's $997.
$997.
We'll teach you how to do it.
But this is like, okay, I really want you to speak into this.
I had a great leadership episode. If you haven't heard that episode, if you're a dude or you want your husband to get on board, I think I had a good leadership episode.
You did have a really good
I break a lot of that down in there. But what was your question?
Well, I was just gonna say, and you have this humility about you. Where there's people in our lives where I've just last week I texted you hey, you need to talk to this person because their marriage is literally on the brink of divorce, and you can speak into them, and something holds you back from doing that for some reason. But I want you to do it here. So just speak into men, hit them hard on that truth. What would you if I was a dude sitting across from you right now and my marriage is failing? What are you going to say to me?
A principle that I live by is everything's your fault. I mean, it's as simple as that. I don't know if that's profound or not. Maybe it sounds too simple, but if you're a dude, you have to realize everything is your fault.
Okay, but say you have a guy who really feels like he's trying. He really feels like he is.
Yeah.
But his wife maybe he thinks she's lazy, or he's just not attracted to her, or she's grumpy with the kids. And what do you say to that guy?
No, but
because he's really trying.
No, we're all trying. We're all trying. Look, at the end of the day, this is how I look at it. We run a business, right? If you look at a business, if the business is not performing, who do you look at?
The leader.
The leader. And what does a business do to the leader? They get rid of them.
I was going to say they either fire him or they get better.
They fire him and they say, dude, this guy ain't cut out to run this company.
You can't fire your
But you
spouse.
you can't fire your spouse. But what you got to do as a dude is fire yourself. Say, dude, who I am, that dude's fired. Mm-hmm. That dude doesn't exist anymore because that dude's not getting it done.
He's not getting it done.
He's not getting it done. And that is taking ownership. And then what you do is you reinvent yourself. You say, look at yourself and be honest with yourself. And being honest with yourself is very hard because who wants to say they suck? But look in the mirror and start pointing out your flaws. Like really analyze yourself. What do I do good? Okay, that's cool. Now, what do I need to do better, right? And a good place to look at is what do you do on a given day? What does that look like?
Or maybe even a better place is okay, what would my wife and my children say about me?
Well, that's the holy grail.
You know,
I can know everything I need to know about a husband by the wife. Hey, tell me about your husband.
Everything.
Is he what's up?
That's the thing.
Yeah. Don't tell me everything.
You can know everything you need to know about a husband by what his wife says.
So true.
And you can know everything about that husband by what the husband says. It doesn't really tell you much about the wife, I don't think. It tells you everything about the husband.
Yeah.
And his level of leadership.
Yeah.
And what he's going to choose to complain about or talk about or
Yeah.
divulge to you. And then everything that she says reflects him also.
Which is why I think most men cop out of life. You know, we have you don't have to be a genius to realize that a lot of men have just kind of bowed out of life. And how do you know that? Well, you know that because there's, if you look at statistics of just men and different things happening in society, declining marriage rates, declining kid rates, crime rates. Now, and a lot of times crime rates are down, but all you have to do is just look around society and say, hey, who are the guys that are kind of stepping up? And when men step up, what naturally happens is you get a better society, because everything starts in the home. And so as you can look around and you say, man, society's got some really interesting stuff going on right now. Mm-hmm. Beliefs, the way they view the world, people not unsure of if they're a dude or a guy, like all these weird things going down. And it's really just a lack of leadership. Mm-hmm. And if you hold the view like we hold, that the man is the leader, then there's no other viewpoint or no other excuse that is going to be acceptable. Because what are you going to say? It's my wife? Well, you don't understand?
Yeah.
Well, okay, you can say that. That's fine. Say it. But tell me who it helps.
Right.
What does it help? If I go up to you and say, hey, man, you just don't understand my wife. Okay, what's your next response? Oh, well, yeah, you're right, man. I feel bad for you, man. And then what? What just occurred right there? That just gave me another reason to go do what I keep doing. Mm-hmm. And then the vicious cycle continues. I'd much rather somebody say, dude, yeah, your wife, just don't, okay, look, put your wife aside. What's up with you? Mm-hmm. And go from there. So,
and that's what one thing I just would encourage men with is whatever complaint you have about your wife, I promise you, if you get better, if you lead better, if you protect better, if you provide better, her countenance will change. It will.
Everybody follows the leader.
So how do you keep the discipline to do that day in and day out? Because sometimes I just feel like, man, I just want to lay on this couch and do nothing.
I doubt you feel like that.
I feel like I don't do it, but I
yeah,
feel
you
it.
might feel like it. That's true.
But there's no days off for the leader. How do you stay on that game all the time? How do you do that?
I think it's the same answer as how do you raise kids? How do you do that every day? What's your answer?
Do it.
You just freaking do it.
You just do it.
I mean, you just do it. I don't there's no other better answer than that.
But there's
you know what I mean?
I feel like it would be so easy to just feel sorry for yourself.
It's very simple. It's very easy to feel sorry for yourself.
But you just don't do it.
But and maybe this is the difference between, but who does, what does it help though? I get men that feel sorry for themselves. I get it. Yeah, feel sorry for yourself. But tell me what behavior that's going to change in your life. How is your life going to look better tomorrow if you feel sorry for yourself? Mm-hmm. It's not. It's going to look more the same.
Yeah. So it's just discipline at the end of the day.
I think it's discipline. And this is there's there's one habit that is fully in your control. Okay. What you put in your mouth is fully in your control, right? It's one of like the most psychological triggers that I think men have is eating, because it's always around you. It's a very social thing, and you can choose to eat poorly or you can choose to eat good, but it's 100% in your control. And I think that's a good place to start, honestly, because you train yourself. Because who doesn't want a Big Mac every now and then? Who doesn't want a big dessert? Who doesn't want French fries and nachos and all this great stuff? Like, we all want that. You're getting dopamine hits. You feel great, right?
For a minute.
But for a minute, and then you feel like crap, which is like what life is, you know? But if you can train yourself to eat properly, even when you don't feel like it, like you're like, dude, I want the freaking nachos, but you order the chicken breast. If you can do that as a dude, you're training yourself to do that in other areas of your life.
Yeah.
And it might sound kind of funny hearing this. A guy's like, well, that's kind of stupid. Well, yeah, maybe. But what I know is that food is a very primal thing.
Well, and I can say as a wife, that's one of those things that I admire and appreciate the most about you is that you're so disciplined, so incredibly disciplined that like like that gives me a lot of comfort, truthfully.
Yeah. But again, if you look at leadership, look, if you start letting things slip in areas, they slip all over the place. You know, you start slipping with your words to your wife. The next thing you know, you start slipping, maybe start cussing more with the guys. And the next thing you know, you start having thoughts about other women. Like, it's these little things that as a leader, you don't realize, man. Like, you got to stay sharp. You can't just let it doesn't work like, oh, I'm going to let this area of my life slip
But
and
I'll
it's not good.
stay dialed over
I'm going to
here.
stay dialed in over here. Like, don't get me wrong. There's areas of weakness that men have and will always have, and you have to work on those weaknesses. But don't for a second fool yourself in thinking that I'm going to do great over here and I'm going to let myself go over here.
Yeah.
That is not real. You're fooling yourself,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah. It's brutal. I don't envy men that responsibility for sure.
Yeah.
But and also to be said, women do have a responsibility of what they focus on, right? Nobody can control your mind. Only you can do that.
Yeah. And, again, we've had episodes on this, but the woman has a tremendous ability to help their husband. And, if people were to ask me like, hey, Rich, what's one of your secrets? I would say one of my secrets is Hailey. We're a partnership. Like, you're in it to win it with me. You're not out there for yourself.
So what are some of the most notable things that I've done that have made you feel supported?
I think what we're talking about is a huge one. You don't talk down to me. You don't make me feel belittled. You don't cast stones at me. and when you do criticize, you give feedback, right? There's a difference between criticism and feedback. Criticism is when you are judging somebody's character. You're saying, you are so stupid for thinking like that. That's a criticism. Feedback is, hey, I don't think that's the right way to think about it. This is how I think about it. And this is how I think maybe you could think about it as well. What are your thoughts on that? Right? Like, that's feedback. That's like getting me to reconsider what I just did in a way that maybe I hadn't thought of before. Right? So you're very good at giving feedback, almost like a coach would to a student. Good coaches give feedback. They don't criticize the freaking student. And so a lot of wives, I think, can start criticizing their husbands instead of coaching their husbands. Like, you're on the same team. You're after the same goal. You want to win the same prize. So I think feedback is very, very important. And you've always given me a lot of feedback. Like, Rich, you're doing things good, or Rich, you're getting off track. But you do it in a way that realigns me, not makes me feel like I'm a stupid a-hole and I should just, go in a corner and cry. You know what I'm saying? But there's a difference.
Yeah.
And women have that responsibility because you can help your husband a lot. Like, if he really truly believes, dude, my wife wants me to win. She is out there for me. She will fight with me in this battle. Like, she's on my side. That goes a long way.
Yeah. And I'm always of the mind that husbands and wives shouldn't be competing with each other, right? Like, it's like you said, they're on the same team. They're working towards the same goal. But there is one area that I think should be a competition with spouses.
Interesting.
Yes. No idea?
outgrowing each other.
Don't outgrow your spouse.
What?
No. But I think it should be a competition to outserve each other. That's the one place I think competition's a good thing. And because, like we're talking about, when you focus on growth, you could sit there and think, oh my gosh, he doesn't ever serve me. Oh my gosh, he'll go and sit in the bath for an hour and a half and I have to sit here with these kids the whole time. Or if you're both trying to serve each other, like, okay, I'm going to take care of the kids while he's in the bath and he's relaxing and he needs a break. But then at the same time, he's serving you also and thinking, okay, I'm going to run to the grocery store and get the stuff for her that she needs, whatever. It's a competition of service, but your mindset cannot be on what you're doing for them and what they're not doing for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just your mindset needs to be, how can I serve him? How can I help him? How can I help to move our vision forward? And don't think about what you're not getting in return. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if both spouses are thinking that way, it's game over.
I think so.
It's unstoppable at that point.
Yeah. Which I'm going to re-say this again. We've mentioned this a ton of times on this podcast, but that is why, and again, we don't have any affiliation with this company. You need to get the journal.
The marriage journal.
The marriage journal. It's like, it's a must, because there might be a lot of women here saying, well, I don't even know what the frick the vision is for our family. My husband has no vision. I don't know where we're going. Well, yeah, I get you. One thing you can do is ask your husband, hey, I'm just feel kind of lost. Like, do you know where we're going? Because I don't. I mean, that's a good conversation to have.
Absolutely.
But if you get the journal, I forget what the journal is called.
It's called the marriage journal.
The marriage journal. Get the marriage journal. Because, man, you start going over these topics. Because I think sometimes, like what you just said is, hey, the vision and all. But a lot of women listening to this might feel like, dude, I don't know what's the vision. Like, what vision? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, there ain't no vision. Like, we're just trying to pay the bills next week. That's the vision, So I think there's something to be said there too. The practicality of that, of serving one another and being on the same page when you don't even know what page you're on.
Yeah. Well, another question that journal asks is like, how can I serve you this week? And I was just talking to a friend last week, and their marriage is in a really, really dangerous spot at this point.
Yeah.
And she was just sharing with me that, like, we won't say 2 words to each other all day. And then we get in bed at night and he wants to have sex. And I'm like, dude, like, there has been no connection. I'm not interested. And then he was telling her, well, I try to like slap your butt when I walk by or whatever. And you're thinking that's whatever, she's annoying or whatever. And he's thinking that that's connection. So I was just, as she's relaying this conversation to me, I'm thinking how sad that, like, they're totally just missing each other. Right? She's telling him, we haven't spoken. I haven't connected with you. And he's saying, I'm trying to connect with you in this other, like, physical way that she's just not picking up. Right? But if you could actually sit down and ask that question, how can I serve you today? And she says, hey, if you could empty the dishwasher before you leave for work in the morning, that would be really helpful. Okay, now he has something he can do, where they're not just passing each other. Or if she says, hey, if we could just take 30 minutes to send the kids outside to play at night and we can sit down at the table with a cup of tea and just talk, like, that would really make me feel loved. But you have to have that touch point. You have to have that language where you talk to each other about that. Otherwise, you just miss each other. And it's sad because here you have 2 people that are actually trying to connect with each other and they're just missing it.
They're missing the mark.
Yeah,
they're missing the mark. The funny thing about what you're saying is that you actually are very good at doing this. Because there's been multiple times in our marriage where we start drifting away, because every marriage kind of has these cycles, right? Where you get really close and then you start drifting a little bit. But there's been multiple times in our marriage when we kind of have the drift phase that you will mention it to me. You will say, hey, I feel like X, and I think we need to do Y.
Well, I think we're both really, really good about catching those.
We are. Over time, we've gotten much better at it.
Yeah, we're pretty good at that.
And we don't really let it get there.
No.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it's happened.
But
right?
we also, but that's the other thing is, like, you have to really know your spouse, right? Like, for me, I'm a very physical touch person.
Yeah.
And you know that about me. So you try to be very intentional and consistent about the physical touch with me. Where if I was an acts of service person and you were just hugging me all the time, I'd be like, dude, I'm drowning. Help me out,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to know what your spouse needs from you and then be willing to give that. You're a words of affirmation person.
Yeah.
which does not come natural to me, but I'll try to like, once a week or whatever, sit and like, okay, I'm going to send him a little text message just to let him know that I appreciate him. And then, I try to be very aware of that because I know that that's something that you need.
Yeah.
You need to know what your spouse needs.
Yeah, it's true.
Because I'm a physical touch person. If I just was constantly holding your hand and loving you, but never telling you that I loved you, you wouldn't feel the love the way that I do.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's important.
That's very important. Yeah, you have to understand each other for sure.
Yeah. Any other final words of wisdom on this topic?
Final words of wisdom. Is there any good books on it that you would recommend? Resources?
Well, I think as far as this direct topic goes, The 5 Love Languages is a great topic. It's a great book.
Yeah, that's a good resource.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like what you focus on grows type books. Not that I can think of though.
Yeah, I mean, As a Man Thinketh is a great book. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen might be the number one book of all time that I've read. It's close. It talks about your thoughts and how it shapes everything.
Yeah.
And attention, essentially. But yeah, I think this is a good episode. Bottom line is, in your marriage, if you have the wrong focus, you will see the wrong stuff, and that wrong stuff will keep you miserable.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to remember that the great marriages that you see, it's not that they don't have a negative that they could focus on, it's that they're choosing not to.
They choose not to.
And that's the difference. It's not that there is no negative present. And so if you don't have that great marriage that you want, it's because you're focusing on the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that there's anything particularly special about those other people other than they put their focus in the right place.
And they're just consistently doing it. Yeah. I mean, those special marriages, like we said, they just have so much momentum on their side. Mm-hmm. They're just building momentum every day. And
it's just a choice. Choose to see the good. Choose to appreciate. That's a choice. It's not a skill.
Yeah, it doesn't take much skill.
It's not a skill.
It's not. I mean, you do need the tools, but it's like the tools are just notice your thought. I'll say this. Did I ever mention this on the podcast about you are the thinker of your thoughts, not your thoughts?
Maybe.
Did I ever say that? But it's a good visual to just remember. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. Mm-hmm. And so basically what that means, like the Bible says, captivate your thought. Like when a thought enters your mind, you are the thinker of that thought. So it means you can think something different. You can think something different at any time. And it's almost like an not an out of body experience, but it's like you are, what is it? What's that word? Like it's almost like you are looking at yourself. Imagine you outside of your body looking back at you and you're like, oh, this thought just entered my head. You can immediately change it because you are the thinker of it.
And the thing is like, you can take that thought. If a thought pops into your mind that doesn't serve you and is not helpful to you, you can take that thought and say, nope, not going that way. And you can throw it out and move. Like you can consciously move a different direction. And that's what you have to do.
All the time.
You have to consciously
every
move
day,
a different direction.
All the time.
Oh my gosh, my wife's really annoying. Nope, not going there. Going over here.
Oh,
man, my wife makes the best bread in the world, and I'm really thankful.
Yes.
Like we're going a different direction.
That'll make some changes.
It's really important.
Changes fast.
And it's just a conscious effort.
Drop it hot on them.
Yep.
What else you got?
Nothing else. Do you have anything else?
Nope. If you like the episode, leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, one of the podcasting sites. Share it with your loved ones, your friends,
your loved ones,
other fellow marriages that will get some value. And we'll see you for the next one.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I love you so much. I'm so thankful for you.
Love you.